Hello, everyone. I am Queen Lily. We got 3 more days, y'all. 3 more days before Election Day. 3 days. Hi, everyone. I'm Queen Lily. Welcome to my channel. Today, we will be discussing no other than the election because it's the biggest thing popping right now. And that's where all the excitement is coming from. So much is happening with this election. We're all excited about it. I haven't been able to sleep because I'm doing things for the election, making calls, texting, and so on. So, who are the two candidates? VP Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. And they're both battling it out right now. We got Mike Tyson and Ryan Garcia. Hey, Queen Vera, how you doing? Thank you for coming to my live. Thank all of you beautiful kings and queens. Y'all know what's up. Y'all know what's going to be talked about this election. It's a lot going on. Trump got a lot of mess with him. Every day I see a bunch with Donald Trump. That's who we discussing more than anything today. And then I'm going to go over a list of what VP Kamala Harris has done that Queen Till sent me, one of my moderators, sent me about VP Kamala Harris, a long list than what I already had. And the list is even longer than the one I put in my magazine. But we got a lot to talk about. I can't lie. It's a lot going on. It's a little tiresome right now because I'm not getting any rest because I'm doing this and I'm working on the election as well. But I'm excited about it. 3 more days, y'all. 3 more days. I got lipstick right there. Oh, well, I don't smear it anymore. But we have 3 more days. We're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you for coming to my live, all you beautiful kings and queens. I see more people coming in. Thank you so much. Let me take a sip of water before we get this party started. Every day when I'm doing research to see what I'm going to talk about for my show, MAGA never cease to amaze me. MAGA, y'all are a group of people that is busy every day. I don't know where y'all get the energy from to do the things y'all going out there and do. But honey, it's November the 1st and MAGA is lit. MAGA is lit. I don't know whether to say it's good or bad. But that MAGA and Donald Trump, they got a lot going on. They are a busy group of people. Yes, they are. Hey, how you doing? Thank you for coming to my live. Thank you. But I'm going to show y'all something that MAGA did for Halloween. MAGA had a Halloween parade in their town, and the mayor did not know what they were going to be doing in the parade. Yes, for Halloween, MAGA did a parade. And what's so awful about this parade, what they did to VP Kamala Harris. Hold on.
When was the last time a black person was dragged to death by white people? And the answer was much more recent than I remembered, and it gave me chills. And I'll explain why this is relevant just 4 days before the 2024
I forgot to turn my mic on. Hold on, y'all. Can y'all hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Can y'all hear me? Vera, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Vera? Okay, because I didn't turn my mic on. The mic take all the noise out and everything, but I'm going to keep going. I ain't going to worry about that microphone.
Headlines were kind of a nothing burger for me. Trump's garbage truck stunt was successful in hijacking the news cycle, and it descended into your guy said garbage. No, your guy said garbage. But today's news cycle is one for the books. 100 hours of Jeffrey Epstein revealing Trump's dark secrets on tape, and Trump suggesting that Liz Cheney be fired upon are just a couple of the trending stories that represent real trash. And speaking of real trash, I present to you my breaking story where a group of people thought it was funny to depict Kamala Harris chained behind a vehicle with Donald Trump at the helm. Photos of the float in a Halloween parade in Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania show a utility vehicle decorated with American flags and campaign signs for Trump, and people dressed as United States Secret Service agents with what appears to be a rifle mounted on top. It includes a person dressed as Trump waving to the crowd and a person dressed as Kamala Harris walking behind the cart chained to it. And here's a video report about the racist depiction from a local station.
It was during last night's Halloween parade here on Main Street where that politically themed float turned a lot of heads. It's now getting a lot of attention online. Now the borough's mayor is trying to figure out how it was approved.
It's a hot political season. Well, probably not something I'd want in a children's parade.
In this video sent to Channel 11 by a viewer, you could see the float that appeared during the Mount Pleasant Halloween parade. You could see people dressed up as Secret Service surrounding a golf cart style vehicle. Riding in the cart is a person wearing a mask of former President Donald Trump. On the top of the vehicle is a fake sniper.
The worst part of it was the fact that there was either a rope or a chain that was attached to the back of the vehicle, and there was a woman who was to resemble Kamala Harris in handcuffs and chained to the back of that vehicle as though they were dragging her.
This is not a good look. This is simulating a lynching down Main Street in Mount Pleasant.
That's Josh Huff. He was at the parade with his wife and said he was immediately stunned seeing that float.
It was dark. It was like, this has been escalated, way beyond what it should be. Somebody in power had to say, hey, yeah, that's fine. That's okay.
How did this get approved? How did this make it through approval to get in the line to be in the parade and then continue on through the whole parade route?
And that is a legitimate question, and I cannot answer that totally.
The mayor tells me she's meeting with the borough manager.
This needs to stop. In this country, this needs to stop.
How crazy is it that I'm Googling when was the last time a black man was dragged behind a car by white people? How crazy is it that such a thing is relevant in 2024, just days before the election? But this story represents the Donald Trump world we live in when the opposing candidate is a person of color. And by the way, our history is too important not to mention that his name was James Byrd Jr., who was dragged to death by three white supremacists in Jasper, Texas. And it did not happen in the 1920s, and it did not happen in the 1960s. It happened in 1998. And I'm a bit ashamed to admit that I had to be reminded of that story by Google. And before I close out this video, I will share a video reminder about James's murder for all time. But first, let's look at some of the reactions the float depicting Kamala Harris chained behind Donald Trump received.
A Halloween parade last night in Westmoreland County has left community members fuming.
With the costumed Vice President Harris being led away, her arms restrained.
I was in the parade last night. I seen it today. I was sick in the stomach when I seen that go down the street.
What appeared at first to be a rifle sat atop the side-by-side.
Because it's a parade for kids, and this is an adult situation, you know what I mean? And why would you show somebody a gun and another person in handcuffs in a parade?
The NAACP called it a painful symbol that invokes a history of racism.
I am still reeling by the reminder that James Byrd Jr. was dragged to death in the United States in 1998. I wonder, is that the year that America was great, that has won it again? Let's not turn the page on this tragic story, but let's turn the page on Trump and the dark racist acts he inspires.
Hi, my name is Kaylin Womack, and I'm a staff writer at The Root. This weekend, I'm taking you to Jasper, Texas to explore the lynching of James Byrd on this episode of Small Town Horrors.
Y'all, we can't watch this whole video because we got a lot more to cover. But it's pretty rough what is happening. I cannot believe that MAGA would go. Yes, I can. Because racism is something is real. And it's happening every day. For example, in North Carolina last month, a young truck driver was lynched. And they went as far to lie and say he did it himself. We don't lynch. No. And we definitely ain't going to lynch ourselves. But I'm not shocked or surprised of anything that MAGA and Trump will do. I'm just not at all. We're supposed to be the United States. Are we united? We have had a black male president. November the 5th, we're going to have a black female president. is we the United States of America? Are we? Are we the United States of America? So the next video I'm about to show you guys, it is Trump and Epstein. And I will need you guys to subscribe to Midas Touch Network because these people work hard. They got millions of subscribers. But hey, nobody got too many subscribers where they don't need more. So I'm going to show you a video, and it's being subscribe to their channel, Midas Touch Network. Subscribe. I love this channel.
There is potentially 100 hours of audio recordings of Jeffrey Epstein describing in detail his relationship with Donald Trump and what they would do together. This, according to author Michael Wolff, who's got receipts, folks. He dropped one of those audio recordings on his new podcast. It's called the Fire and Fury Podcast. This is an audio recording of Jeffrey Epstein taken in 2017 when Epstein was still a free man at that time. And he was talking about his ongoing relationship with Donald Trump at that time in 2017. Let's play this clip from the Fire and Fury Podcast. Let's play it right now.
I think we have a snippet from one of the conversations that I recorded with Epstein, and I think this was in a restaurant in 2017.
His people fight each other.
Right.
And then have outsiders. He sort of poisons the well outside. He will tell 10 people Bannon's a scumbag, and Priest is not doing a good job, and Kelly has a big mouth. And what do you think? Jamie Dimon says that you're a problem, and I shouldn't keep you. And I spoke to Carl Icahn, and Carl thinks I need a new spokesperson. So Kelly, even though I hired Kellyanne's husband, Kellyanne's just too much of a wild one. And then he tells Bannon, I really want to keep you, but Kellyanne hates you.
I have more than dozens. I probably have 100 hours of Epstein talking about the inner workings of the Trump White House and about his long-standing, deep relationship with Donald Trump.
So, folks, here's the story from the Daily Beast. I want to read this story with you about that audio recording, but then there's more from Michael Wolff, who took that audio recording of Jeffrey Epstein at a restaurant in 2017, because Michael Wolff also claims that Jeffrey Epstein showed him photos of Donald Trump with topless young girls sitting on his lap. And Wolff claims he saw these photos himself, that they were in a vault by Epstein that was seized by the FBI in or around 2019 before Epstein mysteriously died. A lot to unpack here. First, let's read the first story on the Daily Beast together. Listen to Jeffrey Epstein spill intel on Donald Trump's White House. Michael Wolff, the explosive chronicler of Donald Trump's 4 years in the White House, has released what he says is a recording of Jeffrey Epstein, who died in 2019. Wolff released the tape on his podcast, Fire and Fury. He says it was made in a restaurant in 2017, most probably in the Soho branch of a restaurant in Manhattan. Epstein can be heard speaking over individuals at the establishment. Epstein is referring to former White House chief strategist Steve Bannon, former White House chief of staff Reince Priebus, and former White House senior counselor Kellyanne Conway, whose then husband George Conway was briefly considered for positions in Trump's Department of Justice. The recording seems to show that Epstein and Trump were close enough for the disgraced sex offender to know how Trump ruled his White House by dividing and conquering his staff. It should be noted that Donald Trump claimed that he had cut off any relationship with Epstein well before then. Another lie of Donald Trump. One of the other lies, obviously, he's told. Here's the next story by the Daily Beast. 2 October surprises back to back. This one is called Epstein Showed Me Photos of Trump with Topless Young Women. Let's just call it what it is. Girls sitting in his lap, claims author. Jeffrey Epstein showed off photos of Donald Trump with topless young girls sitting in his lap, the controversial author Michael Wolff has alleged. The pedophile financier had about half a dozen pictures which showed Trump by the pool with multiple young girls, Wolff claimed on his podcast Fire and Fury. They were taken in the late 1990s at Epstein's Palm Beach home, where he victimized dozens of underage girls, along with his procurer, aka his sex trafficker, Ghislaine Maxwell, who, by the way, Donald Trump wished her well and was sending her coded messages at her sex trafficking trial. I will play that for you shortly. Wolff alleged that they were in Epstein's safe, which the FBI seized when they raided his homes in New York and Palm Beach in July 2019. The massive haul of evidence taken by the feds has never been made public, and while prosecutors disclosed after the raid that they had hundreds of photos of girls and young women, they have never offered any more details of them. Okay, that's that. Let's unpack the Donald Trump-Epstein relationship, which you know we've been covering meticulously here at the Midas Touch Network. In 2002, Donald Trump told New York Magazine the following: "I've known Jeffrey Epstein for 15 years. He's a terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do. Many of them are on the younger side." He's referring to girls on the younger side who Epstein trafficked. That's what Donald Trump told New York Magazine in 2002. Donald Trump is all over the Epstein files. He appears on Jeffrey Epstein's flight logs at least 7 times. Here are the receipts straight from the records of Ghislaine Maxwell's criminal case. Let's take a look right now at deposition transcripts where women who were sex trafficked by Epstein say that they were brought to Trump casinos. Here's one of those depositions from one of the sex trafficking victims. "So we were sitting there and the pilots told me," that's a victim, "to go back and tell Epstein that we can't land in New York and that we were going to have to land in Atlantic City. Jeffrey Epstein said, 'Great, we'll call up Trump and we'll go to,' I don't recall the name of the casino, but we'll end up going to that casino." Other data points. Right now, Donald Trump is flying around in the plane used by Jeffrey Epstein to sex traffic young girls. That's right. Donald Trump is on a Gulfstream that was purchased through an estate sale, but it is Jeffrey Epstein's plane, the plane that Donald Trump's name appears on those flight logs. Just some data that occurred this week. Donald Trump, this is a new article from the Daily Mail. Donald Trump jumped on a blonde 6'1" model, groped her, molested her while she tried to fight him off at a beauty pageant in 1993, a new victim alleges. This is her allegations. Donald Trump denies it. I should state also, Donald Trump has said Michael Wolff is lying. Donald Trump denies all of that as well. Maybe that's Donald Trump's perspective right there, but you can be the judge yourself. She also said, this woman said, who this 1993 beauty pageant contestant who alleges Donald Trump groped her, said that Trump was working with Jeffrey Epstein to recruit young women for parties at Mar-a-Lago. That follows another story from last week. Donald Trump groped me in what felt like a twisted game with Jeffrey Epstein, former model alleges. Her name is Stacey Williams, Sports Illustrated swimsuit model. She alleges that in 1993, Jeffrey Epstein brought her to Donald Trump's office building and office, and Donald Trump started groping her, touching her breasts, touching her body, and playing a sick, twisted game with her in front of Jeffrey Epstein. In other words, molesting her. That's something that
what you don't realize, these are teens. And I just read in the comment what somebody said, so what, they're young. They were young teenagers. A grown man should have not been putting his hand on a young teenager. It should not be happening. And if you're okay with that, you're just as sick and you need to be in prison too. So the next thing we're going to talk about, this video is about Trump and Epstein as well. And you're going to need to subscribe to Adam Mockler. Yes, Adam Mockler. We're going to get a video a moment to load up. But this too is about Epstein and Trump. Well, and nothing surprised me with MAGA. They're going to support a man that has 34 felonies, a man that has SA, plenty of people, a man that has allegedly SA teenagers. That doesn't surprise me. Character. Character matters. Character. And Donald Trump has no character. He's a rich little 2-year-old that's in a grown man's body groping young girls.
How not to pay
Let the
your
commercial
credit
go
cards.
off and
I
we'll
have
be
20,000
starting.
on my cards. How fast can I pay these off with minimum payments? 109 months, so you'll pay about $23,000 in interest. Guess I'll be in debt for 9 years. A bet.
All right, we have a breaking news story that may serve as the October surprise. This article from the Daily Beast that just dropped reads, Epstein showed me photos of Trump with topless young women sitting in his lap, claims author. Controversial writer Michael Wolff says Epstein kept the pictures of Trump in his safe, which the FBI later seized but never subsequently released. And this would perfectly explain why Donald Trump was so hesitant to say that he would in fact declassify the Epstein list and Epstein files when he was asked by Fox and Friends not long ago. We'll play that clip in 1 second, but the broader theme of this video is going to be the relationship between Trump and Epstein and how it's gone rather unexplored, not only by the mainstream media, but also by conspiracy theorists. I mean, conspiracy theorists make up all of these random theories about Epstein, about Diddy being connected to Epstein and Kamala and Biden, but when there are pictures of Trump and Epstein, they conveniently don't care. They conveniently never bring it up. In the same way that they say George Soros is controlling all of the media, but when Elon Musk buys Twitter, spreads propaganda, and wants to put a chip in people's brains, conspiracy theorists don't say anything. You know, with 5 days to go, we have no time to waste. Drop a like and double check to make sure you're subscribed. We're barreling towards 1 million subscribers. We're gonna hit it with the help of you guys. Before we break down this article, let's watch author Joanna Coles dropping the bombshell on CNN. Watch this.
What they're saying they want to do on abortion is what they're actually going to do, or is it what J.D. Vance was saying just a couple years ago?
Well, you can't trust anything that they're saying, right? I mean, we're in the delirium stage of the campaign now, where Donald Trump in particular is just talking literally words fall out of his mouth that don't really make any sense. We know that his advisors are telling him, don't talk about this, but he can't stop himself because he's the only person he listens to. Michael Wolff, the author who writes very authoritatively about him, has just come out this evening talking about all these pictures that there are of Donald Trump with Jeffrey Epstein and the whole Epstein-Donald Trump relationship, which really has gone largely unexplored, is coming to the fore again. This is a man who has women's interest furthest away from women themselves. And the idea that we're really paying it much logic is kind of scary at this point.
Joanna Cole said it perfectly, and the reason some of these stories are resurfacing now, number one, is because of the proximity to the election, but number two, because Donald Trump has been making these repeated claims about being the protector of women, being uniquely great for women, and people are releasing these stories to push back. And again, the relationship between Trump and Epstein has gone rather unexplored, as Joanna said right there, even though there's this clip of Donald Trump very clearly hesitating when he's asked about if he'll declassify the Epstein files. Notice how with every answer here, he says yes, with no hesitation, but when the Epstein files get brought up, he says maybe, because we know that he's thinking of these photos at the back of his mind. Take a look.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah. I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
Attorney General.
Would you
And Fox News cut this out of their interview. Just notice the difference.
declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you?
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
There's a moment there, and you see the Fox News host, their face get kind of worried for a second there.
You're telling me that all these comedian podcasters who make Epstein jokes, I make Epstein jokes, and you were sitting across the guy who's been in multiple pictures at different times of his life with Epstein, and you didn't even mention it?
Yeah.
You didn't mention it?
That's the thing. Joe Rogan, Andrew Schultz, Theo Vaughn, these people are constantly talking about Epstein and his connection to politicians. They are relentlessly trying to draw theories where there are none, but when we have actual, substantial proof that Donald Trump is buddy-buddy with Jeffrey Epstein, these people are nowhere to be seen whatsoever. And this brings us on to the main story the Daily Beast dropped this article titled, Epstein Showed Me Photos of Trump with Topless Young Women Sitting in His Lap, claims author. Controversial writer Michael Wolff says Epstein kept the pictures in his safe, which the FBI later seized. Now, Jeffrey Epstein showed photos of Donald Trump with, quote, topless young women sitting in his lap. The pedophile financier, those words are strong but absolutely true, honestly an understatement, had about half a dozen pictures which showed Trump by the pool with multiple young women allegedly, Wolff claims on his podcast Fire and Fury. They were taken in the, quote, late 90s at Epstein's Palm Beach home, where we know for a fact, not allegedly, we know that he victimized dozens of young underage girls along with his procurer, Ghislaine Maxwell. Wolff alleged that they were in Epstein's safe, which the FBI seized when they raided his homes in New York and Palm Beach in July 2019 while Trump was president, and Epstein died while Trump was president, and they still say that it was some nefarious plot by the Clintons who didn't have power at the time. The massive haul of evidence taken by the feds has never been made public, and while prosecutors disclosed after the raid that they had hundreds of photos of girls and young women, they have never offered any more details of them. Obviously, they can't release these photos because if they're underage women. Yeah, Wolff set up the photos. They were with Trump at Epstein's Palm Beach house, sitting around the pool with these young girls, and the young girls are topless. And some of the pictures, I mean, they're sitting in his lap. I mean, and there's one I especially remember where there's a stain, a telltale stain in front of Trump's pants, blah, blah, blah. The Trump campaign hit back at Wolff for the claims, calling him disgraced. The Trump campaign has been on defense this entire campaign cycle, and there's a phrase in politics, if you're explaining, you're losing. And the Trump campaign has been explaining since day one, whether it's the Arlington National Cemetery thing, where they were constantly explaining themselves,
I can recall Donald Trump being interviewed and was asked about Epstein. And he said he knew of the guy, but he wasn't his friend. Well, Donald Trump, you in plenty of photos with Epstein. Plenty of photos. As Donald Trump is in plenty of photos with P. Diddy. And he said on Apprentice to one of the people that was on there, and they were sitting at the table, that P. Diddy is one of his good friends. He actually said it to Aubrey O'Day because she was on Apprentice. And she mentioned that she was an employee of P. Diddy's. And Donald Trump said, I know P. Diddy. He's one of my good friends. And I have already showed y'all several photos of P. Diddy and Donald Trump. Several. Now Donald Trump doesn't know anybody. Let him tell her he wasn't friends with Epstein. He wasn't friends with P. Diddy. But he said it out of his mouth that P. Diddy was one of his good friends. He said it to Aubrey O'Day. And Aubrey O'Day is more than likely going to testify against P. Diddy, as she should. Thank you, Aubrey O'Day. So we're going to move on for some doom for Trump. Nothing surprised me when it comes to y'all savior, Donald Trump. Nothing. The closer we get to November 5th, the worse his sink is shipping.
She came to our clinic after realizing she was pregnant. She had been raped. But Florida's abortion ban is filled with red tape and impossible hurdles, even for rape victims like her.
He's sinking and Kamala is on the rise.
It would be too late, forcing her to carry her rapist child.
I'm joined by Anthony Scaramucci, who's actually been boots on the ground in Pennsylvania. Anthony, I got to ask you what's going on there. But let me start off with this.
Midas Touch
Donald
Network
Trump continues to post over and over again these lies about Pennsylvania.
I'm going to take a sip of water right quick.
He's posting this Pennsylvania's cheating, getting caught at large scale levels, rarely seen before. I mean, this is 100% false. We're also seeing his surrogates like Cernovich posting mail turnout in Pennsylvania for Trump has been a disaster. Unless this changes, Kamala Harris takes Pennsylvania and it's over. This from Politico, Trump lagging in early vote with seniors in Pennsylvania, a red flag for the GOP. And then finally over here, the gender gap, at least as of right now, about plus 12 in favor of females in Pennsylvania. Right. Look, Anthony, you're on the ground there. You were there. You were eating cheesesteaks. I saw your photos. You were knocking on doors. What are you seeing there?
Well, there's a lot going on. So, and I want to be cautiously optimistic, or as people inside the campaign tell me, nauseously optimistic, which I think is going to be the buzzword for the year. So I'm nauseously optimistic because there's three things going on that we should talk about. Number one, the voter turnout, if the differential is 4%, Ben, so meaning there's 4% more women show up at the polls, it's over. The whole thing is over. She'll win all 7 of the swing states. Okay, so she won't probably win all 7 of the swing states, but she could. Okay, the second thing I think is very important in Pennsylvania, he knows he's in trouble in Pennsylvania because he's like a Shakespearean character, right? Doubt does protest too much. If he wasn't in trouble in Pennsylvania, he wouldn't be putting out these tweets, right? So he knows that, okay? He also knows he's in trouble in Michigan. The poly markets, even the poly markets have moved against him in Michigan. So listen, I do a lot of business in London. You can't get a bet on for her in London. So if you put up $9 for Trump right now, you win 4. If you put up $4 for her, you win 9. But they won't let you put that bet on. So what's happened is a couple of his oligarchic friends have leaned on the market and tilted the odds. And so their game was, let's use X as a megaphone. This way, all the Wall Streeters will get in our camp, or at least not give money to the vice president. Neither one of those things have worked, by the way. So what I found on the ground is a very enthusiastic that there's another myth or potential lie going on about black men, African-American men that I met with, and I did several town hall events. African-American men that I met with are voting for her. Okay, and I think the last 2 weeks with the commentary about the garbage, I think that's helping her. And I think the garbage man thing, he thinks it's helping him, and they think they're driving around in the garbage truck owning the libs. But let me give you 3 quick reasons why that did not help him. Number 1, he looked like an 80-year-old man stumbling into the garbage truck. Very, very bad optics for him. Number 2, he said to the American public that America is a garbage can, and now he's riding around in a garbage truck. I don't think Americans, by and large, normal, rational Americans don't want an 80-year-old buffoon calling their country garbage. And then the third reason why I don't think it worked for him is it's a shark jumping. You're not old enough to remember this, but when Henry Winkler was playing Arthur Fonzarelli, they were in their 11th season. They had him in a leather jacket in Hawaii, jumping a shark at a water skiing competition. And so there's a term called jump the shark. What does that mean? We're past it now, okay? Trump in the McDonald's outfit. Trump in the garbage truck. Garbage should have been put in the back of the truck. He's in the front of the truck. It's sort of shark jumping. And last point I'll make, and I'll compare it to Michael Dukakis. Dukakis got in a tank. He put a helmet on. He was driving around in the tank. He looked like an absolute buffoon. And people looked at him and said, he really can't be president. And I think these images that Trump is presenting in the last 2 weeks of the campaign, plus the rally. Now, I don't call it a Nazi rally, and let me just tell you why. Because when I do call it a Nazi rally, the UK people get mad at me, and the Australians get mad at me. They say it's glib. But I can list for you the things that Trump says that are fascist. Okay, and so I feel like it had fascist tendencies. Let's just put it that way. I think that hurt him as well. I think these things, people looking around and saying, this guy's nuts. The vice president's running an organized campaign. She's a healing person. She's opened up her tent. And I think she's going to win. I really do. And it's not me talking the book because I want her to win. I think she's going to win because of the way they're running that campaign. There's no overbite in that campaign. Sorry, just to add that one thing.
Well, and to your point, I think in this final stretch, they're showing that contrast between just normalcy versus, as you pointed, all of these stunts and isn't it just exhausting what Donald Trump did? There's all these other arguments against him, but this exhaustion. One of the things that we've been focused on, especially in a state like Pennsylvania, where Nikki Haley got like 21% of the vote in Pennsylvania in that primary about 6 weeks after she dropped out. So tell us, in your travels around Pennsylvania, had you been speaking? Have you seen Republicans, independents, first-time voters whose voting behavior is different?
Have you ever considered at-home needling?
Now, I'm now going to show you a video of Trump. He is panicking about early voters swaying towards VP Kamala Harris. I have seen since everybody has been voting early, they are actually swaying towards her.
Donald Trump and his campaign are suddenly panicking about early voter data, realizing they were celebrating far too early, and now it is pandemonium at Trump HQ as they are starting to see the election slip away. With every single day, we receive more positive early voting data for Vice President Kamala Harris, and Trump is imploding at rally after rally. My name is Brett Meiselas here with the Midas Touch Network. Be sure to subscribe and help us get to 3.5 million subscribers so that we could reach as many people as possible. Here's the big story right now from Puck. Inside Mar-a-Lago, Pennsylvania anxiety, Chief of Staff Games, and Czar RFK Jr. The Trump campaign has paused its premature celebration and fallen into sweat mode as early voting numbers indicate more women are turning up than men in must-win Pennsylvania, and operatives are bringing out the briefcases for lawfare. They are going so crazy here, says a source. Let me just read you a little bit of this. We're less than a week away from Election Day, and the mood inside the Trump campaign has undergone yet another transformation. Last week, I reported on the preemptive but undeniably palpable sense of euphoria washing over Mar-a-Lago as data rolled in depicting early voting surges in Nevada, Georgia, and North Carolina. But now, as the early results from Pennsylvania reveal an influx of first-time female voters who will likely break for Harris, a newfound anxiety is taking hold. While Trump continues to claim he has a massive lead, setting the stage to contest any unfavorable result, some in the Mar-a-Lago sphere are starting to believe that his surge last week was 2 weeks premature. Donald Trump's campaign manager, Chris LaCivita, responded to this in a very panicked way, if I do say so myself. LaCivita wrote, "Actually, this bullshit tweet is a result of the fact that famed gossip columnist Tara Palmieri, the writer of this piece, was denied credentials to enter Mar-a-Lago to cover election night due to her, quote, proclivity to write bullshit." Well, Chris LaCivita certainly seems concerned to me. And here is some of the early voting data in swing states by gender. And this is what is causing the Trump campaign right now to panic. We see in Arizona, women at 52% of the votes, men 46%. In Nevada, women 50%, men 48%. In Pennsylvania, women 56%, men 44%. In Georgia, 56% women, 44% men. In North Carolina, women 55%, men 45%. In Michigan, 55% women, 45% men. And in Wisconsin, 55% women, 45% men. But that's not all. Democratic enthusiasm throughout the country is surging. Not only is it surging, it is higher right now than it was in 2008 when Barack Obama was the nominee. Wow. And it is 10 points higher.
Did y'all hear that? It is higher than when Barack Obama was running for president. That's big and that's major. And to think about, she is the only candidate that raised over $1 billion within 3 months. Donald Trump supposed to be the businessman that has 6 bankruptcies. Why hasn't he raised over $1 billion? VP Kamala Harris raised over $1 billion. I can't even count $1 billion. I have never seen $1 billion. I wish I have. Again, VP Kamala Harris raised over $1 billion in 3 months. Donald Trump, supposed to be y'all mighty saving businessman who filed bankruptcy 6 times, did not raise over $1 billion in 3 months. And he's been doing his campaign longer than VP Kamala Harris. She's powerful. She's the most powerful woman in the world right now. And I can't wait to see her at the inauguration. Trump is at it again with the enemy from within. He just won't stop. He got the enemy from within again. He won't stop. Now he after Liz Cheney.
Last night, Donald Trump sat down in an interview with Tucker Carlson at an event for his live show, and it went exactly as you would expect. Donald Trump was angry. He was out of control. He was losing his mind. But then the interview took a more sinister turn. Donald Trump went away from his just regular enemy from within rhetoric, and it got really scary because Trump directed his anger at Liz Cheney and began threatening her life. It is absolutely terrifying to hear the words that Donald Trump said, so much so that both Tucker and the crowd fell completely silent in a state of utter shock. It was disgusting, it was disturbing, and we are going to get into it all. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really means the world to me. Now let's get into this crazy interview with Trump and Tucker.
To break the country.
It could be they hate our country. I mean, they may hate our country. And we deal with real scum. I mean, like a guy like Adam Shifty Schiff. He's a sleazebag. And he's probably going to be a senator, if you can believe it. But I call him Watermelon Head. He has the... No, he's unattractive, both inside and out. That is... No, but this is a really bad guy. This is a dishonest guy, not a dumb guy at all. He's got the smallest neck I've ever seen on a human being. He will never be a football player, I can tell you. But he's a smart guy, but he's just a sleazebag. You know, there's nothing else he can... I'll give you shit.
Like I said, Donald Trump out of the gate, clearly angry, clearly aggrieved, as he always is, going after Adam Schiff. And is this really his closing message? Kamala Harris is talking about turning the page, talking about unity, talking about moving forward, and Donald Trump is still focused on his enemies from within, which of course we are going to get to the most dangerous version of that in just a little bit. But he continued these remarks as he grew angrier and angrier right here.
I say the enemy from within, and I said, look, we have China, we have Russia, we have Kim Jong-un of North Korea, we have a lot of people out there. But if you have a smart president, I had a great relationship with President Xi until the China virus came in, and that was a bridge too far, but we'll have a very good relationship. And there's reasons for them to want to like us. There's big reasons. But if you have a smart president who wants that kind of smart, meaning with people...
I'm going to move along because Donald Trump is not a smart president. I don't care how MAGA, how to try to flip it up, toss it up, all around. It ain't happening.
Stewing over his enemies list, or me working for you, checking off my to-do list. You have the power to make that decision. It is your power. It is your power. So, 12 days. All right. So,
that was here in Atlanta. I went to that rally.
okay, so Georgia, listen, it all comes down to this. We are here together because we know what is at stake.
Poor Jacob jealous. Jacob C. jealous.
Because we love our country. We love our country. And I do believe it is one of the highest forms of patriotism to fight then for the ideals of our country and to fight to realize the promise of America. That's why we are here. And as the great Congressman John Lewis reminded us, democracy is not a state, it is an act. So Georgia, now is our time to act, and together we will win. We will win. We will win.
I would say she's very presidential. Who would you want to listen to? Donald Trump whining, or listen to her laying out her policies and encouraging you to get out there and vote because we're going to win?
Himself, Donald Trump is trying to get back at those who he feels have wronged him, while Kamala Harris is trying to build a better future, turn the page, look ahead with positivity, with a big tent, with a big coalition of people who are behind her because they want to see this country be better. And what is Donald Trump doing? He's out for himself, which is what he lied about right here.
What motivates you to keep going
Who the hell knows? I don't know. I just want to be with people like this. There's so much love in this room. So much love, right? Isn't it amazing? No, it's pretty easy. I could have I have a lot of alternatives. I could be at a beautiful beach with the waves hitting me.
Listen to the difference. When VP Kamala Harris talk about us, the people, he talk about himself.
It's called Make America Great Again. That's all I think about.
Staying out of prison, that's his goal.
It's interesting that Tucker would even ask this question of Donald Trump, expecting any response that was actually true. But as we always say, we know the reason Donald Trump is running for president. It's not because he could be on some beach somewhere, but he doesn't want to do that. Donald Trump is running for president to get out of prison, to serve
point blank period, to stay out of prison. That is Donald Trump's goal. Because you know what's coming November the 26th? November the 5th, VP Kamala Harris, President Kamala Harris. November the 26th, Donald Trump has his sentencing. He's going to prison. Young Thug got out of jail yesterday. Donald Trump going to jail. P. Diddy sitting in jail. Donald Trump going to prison November 26th. So, well, hold on just a moment. I'm reading my notes. Hold on. The next video I'm going to show y'all, it is about Donald Trump and his stunts. He always pulling stunts. He always trying to steal the election. He tried to talk his VP into lying about the electoral ballots. And Mike Pence is an honorable man. He wouldn't do it. So now he has all these other stunts that he's up to. Hold on. We're going to do a rewind. Throwback.
I would like to begin by addressing the heinous attack yesterday. And to those who broke the law, you will pay. You do not represent our movement. You do not represent
That's him talking about you, MAGA.
And if you broke the law, you can't say that. I'm not going to. I already said you will pay. The demonstrators who.
And y'all say he doesn't read a teleprompter? Okay.
The seat of it's defiled, right?
He's dumb.
Very well. Okay, I'll do this. I'm going to do this. Let's go. But this election is now over. Congress has certified the results. I don't want to say the election's over. I just want to say Congress has certified the results without saying the election's over, okay?
But Congress is certified. Now Congress is
right.
Now Congress.
I didn't say over, so let me see. Don't go to the paragraph before. Okay? I would like to begin by addressing the heinous attack yesterday. Yesterday is a hard word for me.
I'm going to pause a minute. Hold on. Somebody said, can you read though? I can read you something to your mama that your daddy sent me. How about your daddy offered me $100,000 to sit on his lap, and I told him no because I know what size it is and I like it real big for my brothers. Tell your daddy and mama that this lady can read and she just read you down. And tell your daddy stop texting me, DMing me on Instagram. See, them old men, they nasty. Especially old white men, just nasty. Donald Trump still pulling stunts. And MAGA don't have a problem with it. Because MAGA ain't nothing but stunt queens. Hold on. Just a moment.
Clearest choice we've ever seen in a presidential election. On the one hand, we have a man named Donald Trump who has 34 felony convictions, who has a history of racism from the Central Park Five to his black casino workers to being sued for racial discrimination in the 1970s to his lies about Barack Obama's birth certificate to the fact that he was impeached twice and tried to start an insurrection to prevent the peaceful transfer of power. And on the other hand, we have a talented black woman who started her career as a district attorney, became a state attorney general, became a United States senator, and then became the vice president of the United States, is the most qualified person in this race, perhaps the most qualified person to run for president because she has experience at the state, local, and federal level. And she also has experience in the judicial branch from working as a prosecutor, and the executive branch from working as the vice president, and the legislative branch from working as a United States senator. Who else has that experience? This is a choice. I just hope that we look at these two people and we choose wisely.
Yes.
She's overqualified. Donald Trump is underqualified. He can't compete. He just can't.
Right? Heck yeah, it's cool. Black guy. That's one of my buddies. We had fun. We carved watermelons together. It was awesome.
No, I'm not a racist. They're taking black jobs now. The whole country's going to be like, it'll be like Detroit. A lot of it's about the genes, isn't it? Don't you believe? They're poisoning the blood of our country. Troublemaker. These are troublemakers. Look, I love the old days, you know? Do you know what they used to do to guys like that when they were in a place like this? They'd be carried out on a stretcher, folks. Like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you. Now, if you had one really violent day, like one rough hour, and I mean real rough, the word will get out and it will end immediately. But we're going to indemnify police officers and law enforcement from being destroyed by the radical left. You're changing history, you're changing culture.
Of course I hate these people. And let's all hate these people because maybe hate is what we need.
All right. Heck yeah, it's cool. Black guy.
And I believe that's how he feels. That's truly who Donald Trump is, hate. That is who MAGA is, the cult, hate. That's exactly who they are. One moment, please. So, Queen Tia, one of my moderators, she sent me, one moment, she sent me a list of the things that VP Kamala Harris has done for America. So, hold on. Just a moment, please. Thank you. What has Kamala Harris done for America? Set a new record for the most tie-breaking Senate votes cast by a VP in history. Invested $370 billion to combat climate change and expand energy production. Expand the child tax credit to cut child poverty in half. Provided $450 billion in relief to 6 million small businesses. Won $20 billion settlement for homeowners during the foreclosure crisis. Took on for-profit colleges that scammed Americans. Led the push for the Domestic Workers Bill of Rights Act, federal worker unionization, and overtime pay for farm workers. And Donald Trump is going to take y'all overtime. Introduce a student loan forgiveness program for mental health professionals. Won settlements from companies that underpaid workers and violated labor laws. Took on big corporations that took advantage of working people. Capped the cost of insulin to $35 monthly for seniors. Sponsored legislation to expand and strengthen Social Security. She protected seniors from fraud and abuse. She allowed Medicare to negotiate lower drug prices, expected to save taxpayers $6 billion. She led the White House blueprint for addressing maternal health crisis. She created the first ever federal health and safety requirements for maternal emergency services and hospitals. Extended postpartum Medicaid coverage from 2 months to 12 months to provide life-saving coverage in 46 states. Connected 38,000 people to free 24/7 support with the new National Maternal Mental Health Hotline. Voted against Trump's budget cuts to Medicaid and Medicare. Hold on, let me go down some. Okay. Announced administration's plans to remove medical debt from credit report. She sued drug companies for unlawful drug pricing and marketing tactics. She shut down scam healthcare websites. She stood up for reproductive rights during Trump's Supreme Court nominees confirmation hearing. Remember, she made that guy cry, the guy that's in the Supreme Court? That's a RAPITS. Remember? She launched a national reproductive rights tour, becoming the first VP to visit a reproductive health care clinic. Strengthened global alliance by meeting with more than 150 world leaders. She kept Americans safe while serving on the Senate Selected Committee. She kept Americans safe while serving on the Senate Selected Committee on Intelligence. Donald Trump has no intelligence. Oversees the first ever White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention. Stopped nearly 30,000 firearms sales to convicted domestic abusers. And the ones we see doing most of the abuse today are Trump supporters, MAGA. She led the fight to pass a red flag law. She closed a gun show loophole to ensure sellers conduct background checks. Voted to confirm more women and people of color to make judiciary look more like America. She presided over the vote to confirm Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. She's a Supreme Court justice. She's on the cover of a magazine that I'm in. Officiated some of the nation's first same-sex marriages. Oversaw the country's largest state justice department. So MAGA, when y'all keep saying, what has she done? That's just some of the things she's done. And in my magazine article I read to y'all, I gave y'all a good 48 things she has done. And this adds to it. So stop saying, what has she done? She's been doing this all her career. Her career has been for the people. She's not like Donald Trump, selfish little spoiled little rich boy having temper tantrums because he knows he's going to lose November the 5th. He knows it. He can smell it. She's a winner. And let him tell her she's non-intelligent. She can't be non-intelligent. She has her bar license. Her husband has his as well. What does Melania have? She has nude photos. And she's proud of them. Say it loud, she white and she's proud. Say it loud, she's a Russian and she's proud. Was she working in this country without being legal? Elon Musk was, and that's not surprising. Nothing surprised me when it comes to Donald Trump's camp. Nothing. SLC, what makes me gross? That I'm sitting here pretty, a beautiful black woman, 50 years old, no wrinkles, long, black, beautiful, thick hair, nice body to make your daddy sing to me. He loved me. Is that the problem? I know what the problem is. Y'all don't want a white. No, let me rewind. Y'all don't want a black woman in the White House running it. She's already vice president. She's been pretty much running it because Joe Biden is just like Donald Trump, but he's a much better version. Sorry to inform you, but she has already won. Your wife voted for her. All you white men that come to my chat daily, your white wives voted for VP Kamala Harris. So when you thinking it's a lot of Republicans voting, those Republican wives are voting for VP Kamala Harris, and a lot of those handsome white men are voting for VP Kamala Harris. Get mad, get glad, scratch your mother. Thank you for coming to my live. I appreciate every last one of you. Nikki Sissy says, hey, Queen, how is everything going? Hi, Queen, how are you? Things are going well. I'm excited about this election because I already know who's going to win. We all know who's going to win. We all know who's going to win. We all have a dream, like Martin Luther King. She will be sworn in on Martin Luther King's birthday. I'm excited. I'm happy. There's nothing MAGA can say. MAGA coming here every day with their nonsense. And they got a right to want to vote for Donald Trump. I respect that. They have a right to put in the chat, Trump 2024. I have no problem with that because I know who's going to win. Another queen that wears her crown proudly. She's so educated. Donald Trump can't even stand near her. Are you kidding me? Please, with his horrible makeup? Please. And that fat gut, please. He could never, ever stand near Queen President Kamala Harris. Never. Thank you, Queen Nikki. James D. Strong says, wow, Queen. Wow. Douglas McWynn says, delusional, disconnected, and dumb. That ain't what your daddy told me. And he told me he ain't even your daddy. Your mama was a hoe. Sam B says, you are describing Trump. If I'm describing Trump, he's dumb. Timothy Bond says, Trump 2024. I respect that. That's your candidate. You're supposed to celebrate your candidate. Sam B said, beautiful. Yes. Thank you so much, Sam B. Thank you, King Sam. Timothy Bond said, Trump 2020. Joe Biden won in 2020, King Timothy. SL said, yes, she can. I don't know what you're saying, but okay, whatever. But anyway, I'm excited about this election. I voted early, October the 15th. I am a voting ambassador. I have been getting out, making sure people vote. I have been attending the rallies. I'm doing everything I can to make sure we have a competent president in the White House. Not someone that has 34 felonies. Not someone that filed bankruptcy 6 times. Not someone that grabs them by the PUSSY. Not here, not I. Not someone that cheated on every wife he has ever had. Not someone claiming he wants to protect women, but he's an abuser, a SA abuser at the same time. We don't want you protecting us because you're not going to protect us. We're scared you're going to try to take our PUSSY. And mine is too pretty for you. I couldn't have a blubber butt on top of me. Never, ever. I want to say thank you to each and every last one of y'all beautiful kings and queens. Make sure you get out and vote. You have a right to vote for whoever you want to. But who I voted for, I ain't going to pretend. I ain't going to lie to y'all. This is who I voted for. This is who I voted for. Harris and Walls. I've never seen anybody like Tim Walz. He's amazing. I love Tim Walz. I love you all. Have an amazing Friday evening. Goodbye.